Hey, family, welcome. If this is your first time here, I'm glad you clicked on this video. And if you've been working with me, welcome back. So, I'm trying something a little different today, so bear with me. But listen, this has been sitting with me, okay? And with the help of God, everything was clear. So, some people always got to be right. At first, it looked like confidence, but with the help of God, I started paying attention and it started being obvious. Sometimes it's not confidence, sometimes it's fear. Fear of looking wrong, fear of feeling like you're beneath, and fear of admitting maybe I missed something. And once that was clear, it changed the way people started looking. So let me ask you something. You ever meet somebody who always got the answer? You say the sky is pretty, they got to explain why your opinion is not right. You share how something made you feel, they started getting defensive instead of listening to you. And you know what? You can tell a story, they interrupt you halfway through because they already know where it's going, right? But the crazy part is, some of us don't even realize we do it because being right feels safe, right? I mean, think about it. If I'm right, I don't have to apologize. If I'm right, I don't have to check myself. If I'm right, I don't have to admit maybe I hurt somebody. And slowly, the conversations stop being connections and they start feeling more like competition. Listen, competition kills closeness because when somebody is more committed to winning than understanding, then the relationship becomes like a scoreboard, not a safe place, okay? So here's what God showed me. People who always have to be right usually weren't listened to when they were younger. They weren't heard. They they wasn't heard. They were dismissed. They was embarrassed, or they were made to feel beneath, as if they're lower than someone. So now being right becomes like armor. It's not truth, not wisdom, just protection. So listen, protection has side effects, okay? With protection, people stop being open. Protection makes them stop sharing. People stop being honest, not because they don't care, but because they don't feel safe. And hear me, silence isn't always peace. Sometimes silence is exhaustion. You ever notice this? Where somebody will say, okay, you got it, whatever. Those are not agreements. That's exhaustion. And that's when God had to remind me of something. Pride doesn't just destroy situations, it destroys connections. Pride says, I already know. Humility says, help me understand. Pride says, I'm explaining. Humility says, I might have missed something. And in the Bible, it says, James breaks it down plain. He says, be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. Now listen, that's not personality. That's maturity. That's growth, okay? Quick to listen means I don't assume I know everything. Slow to speak means I don't have to fire back immediately. Slow to speak means I don't have to clap back. I don't have to snap. I don't have to pop off at somebody, okay? Slow to anger means your disagreement doesn't threaten my identity. And let me ask you something real. When was the last time you changed your mind because you learned something? Because if your opinions never grow, you're not learning, you're defending. And humility is not weakness. Humility is security. Only people that have growth can say, I was wrong. I misunderstood you. I hurt you. I'm sorry. Teach me. And some of you, you're not the one who always has to be right. You're the one who's tired of dealing with the person who does it. Now, you can bring up hope. They bring up your tone. And you can try to connect. They try to correct. You understand what I'm saying? You're talking from the heart, and then they're talking from their ego. So if that's you, hear me out. Stop trying to drag someone into understanding when they're committed to defending themselves. Okay? Pray, communicate, but stop carrying the whole conversation by yourself. Peace is not pretending. Peace requires two people willing to be honest. So listen, this week, before you defend yourself, pause for a second. Ask yourself, am I trying to understand or am I trying to win? Because the strongest person in the room isn't the loudest. It's the one that has the growth. It's the one with maturity enough to say, I never thought about it that way. Teach me. And let me tell you something. Don't let pride talk louder than your peace. And if this hit home for you, don't get offended. Get free. Let me know what you think in the comments. All right, family? Y'all have a blessed one.